Thanks for staying to hear about all of our volunteer opportunities. And my name is Debbie Combs, and I'm here as a board member. My job is called Program Director.
I'm Pat Brown. I'm membership team leader, and we're delighted that you can spend a little bit of time with us on this subject.
Yeah, and so this quote has been up here for a while now, and I hope you had a chance to read it. It's a good one, and it's a good theme for us because we're happy with whatever volunteer opportunities fit your schedule and what you like to do. And that came from this book called Serving with Grace, and it's called Lay Leadership as a Spiritual Practice. And it's written by a UU minister. And if you would want to read this, there's a copy right downstairs in the library. But it's a really good book, and it really makes you think about the volunteering you do in a different way. So we will go ahead and get started.
So even one matters, being a party to the party, presented by the Spirit and membership teams and the leadership committee.
So this is a collaboration of teams, so that's demonstrating a good thing to do. All right, so you don't have to be a leader unless you want to be. And just a little aside here, I don't ever view myself as a leader, although I guess since I'm on the board, I kind of am. And my favorite position is to be a worker bee. That's more my style. But there are different ways to look at being a leader, right, Pat?
Right. You could be a guide, a mentor, a helper, an initiator, an arranger, a collaborator.
You could be a co-coordinator, co-facilitator, a convener, a point person, an organizer, or a planner.
What does it mean to give back to your church?
So the name that's up here on the slide, he's the minister who wrote this book, and he says, a leader is anyone who moves from receiving from the congregation to giving back to the congregation using their skills and talents. So that covers a lot of people.
So why volunteer?
Well, the first point there about meeting new people and making new friends, that's something that's really worked for me because I like meeting people in smaller groups. And a lot of times when you volunteer, you're with a smaller group of people. And even the second one speaks to me, gaining a sense of belonging, because when you do work for St. John's, you really feel like you're part of the community. And there is that joyous sense of achievement, making a difference to the greater community, and feeling valued and needed.
And then learning what's going on in the church community. There's a lot of information in these small groups that go back and forth with, oh, really? Oh, so-and-so did what? Find a change of pace. Use skills not used in your paid work environment. And have fun. When thinking about volunteering, consider.
Okay, what brings me joy? So is there anybody in here who gets joy from their volunteer work here at St. John's? Lots of hands out there. What am I passionate about? Anybody do things here that they're passionate about? Me too. I love being historian. What do you want to learn? Anybody learn new skills here? Yeah. And what can I learn about myself? I've had that experience of learning more about myself and interacting with people who have different work styles from my work style. So it's always a good thing to realize.
And remember, no is as sacred as yes.
All right, so how does engaging at St. John's work? And I'm going to pass out to you, it's a modification of our leadership list, which comes out once a year. And so I pared it down and I put a little extra information in, and I'm going to pass that out. And I'm going to try to get new people first, and then there are some other copies that others can have.
So aside from looking through the leadership list, go to the welcome table after the service on Sunday and ask for help. It sort of seems like there's people all over Hanley. There'll be somebody around there that can answer your questions. Look at the volunteer opportunities on the bulletin board in Kroll Pfeiffer Fellowship Hall. And of course, watch the Sunday Bulletin and read the e-news. There's a lot of things always in there, and anybody can attend any of the groups, any of the activities that call to them from the e-news.
Oh, I don't know. Is that what's up next?
I'll go see it.
Okay. All right, so we wanted to talk about ways for you to help on Sunday mornings. And Ashley is here, and I'm going to wait for her to come in, and we'll talk about that. But I think everybody here knows who our choir director is. Easy to identify, Rob. And other ways to help on Sunday morning, Rita Volz is not here, but if you ever wanted to do the part of the service called Worship Associate, Rita would help you get involved in that. And another choice would be to be part of the AV team. So there are a lot of different jobs involved in that, and you could talk to Roberto in the back. Another way is for the chancel and chapel team. And so there's Barbara Haddon right there, and another person who's involved in that is Connie Mitz, and they do things like our flowers, and they just take care of this general area and make sure that it's set up properly for Sunday mornings. And then, in the past, Reverend Mitra has had sermon writing classes, and I'm sure she'll do that again when she returns from sabbatical, so that would be another way to get involved with Sunday mornings. And now we have Ashley. So she'll talk to you about programming for youth and children.
Good morning. Thank you for hanging around and finding out about all the opportunities. The big thing that I want to say about helping with the children during the service is that we have built up the program so that you do not need to commit for, multiple, a whole year or multiple weeks in a row, or you don't even need to necessarily coordinate with other teachers like we've done in the past. Even when it was once a month, you had to schedule. It really is this is when choir is not singing, I can sign up on this Sunday. Because of the way the programming is and they can choose activities, you can drop in, and in some ways, the kids they're learning the program and they're gonna show you what to do. So you don't have to necessarily feel you need to come down and direct anybody or, act like an expert. In fact, it's better if you don't. So the goal, I really want as many people as possible to come down at least a couple of times and just, be with us and be with the kids, and including Juliana, and just kind of spend some time with us, and that's really the goal. And it can really be based on, when it works for you. And I really want as many people as possible to you know, if I have this dream that like everybody will come down and volunteer with us at least twice a year. So, you know, in addition to whatever you do, like, you know, pick out a Sunday or two and say, well, Ashley, can I sign up this Sunday? Probably yes. And we'd love to have you. Sure, absolutely.
I also volunteered I was co-opted by our director the first Sunday, and we had 10 kids, and it was a lot of fun. So I highly recommend spending a Sunday morning with Ashley and her crew downstairs.
Okay, so that gives you a feel for how you can get involved on Sunday morning. And I wanted you to get an idea about how getting into various leadership positions work. Now, there are some volunteer positions that are appointed by the board, and some examples would be Personnel Committee, Committee on Ministry, Outreach, and Safe Congregation. And when those particular types of committees, a lot of times they're looking for particular skills related to that committee. Then some volunteers are elected, or volunteer positions are elected. So that would be the Board of Trustees, Fund Trustees, and the Leadership Committee. So there's Alicia, and Alicia is part of the Leadership Committee. I don't think
Next slide.
Rick and Bill are here. I don't see them.
Okay, all right. Next slide, please.
There we go.
Ta-da! Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia Ruslow. I am the newest member of the leadership team, and one of the reasons I wanted to sign up is because I wanted to learn a little bit more about how the board works. I am a teacher, so I've been focusing my energy with the kids, and that is my passion, and I do love the kids, and I love the new program, and I got to volunteer down there today, but I wanted to also, I believe in rotation too, so I wanted to learn some new skills and learn a lot more about the board. So Debbie probably didn't ask me to come up and tell you about all that, but I did learn. So the board position, they're 3-year positions, and so the last rotation started in 2019, and then we'll have new board members starting next July in 2023 for 3 years. So in a couple of these people, they're filling in. So the people who will be elected next in 2023 will be the vice president. They serve 1 year as vice president, and then the next year as president, and then the third year is immediate past presidents. Currently, Melissa is Roland is our current vice president, and Michael, who's not here right now, is our current president, and then Kathy Schell is our immediate past secretary of the board. Thank you, Nancy. She is here, and so if you have any questions about that, Nancy can answer those for you. Our finance director right now is Jim McDonough. I'm not sure if he's still here. He was here this morning. All things financial. And then the program director, Debbie, who is really a great worker bee, and she's very organized, and I appreciate that about her. And then our member at large right now is Ann Scher. Does that cover that?
Ann was here.
Is Ann still here? She was downstairs with us. Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you're on.
St. John's has been a community of service for 200 years.
And one reason St. John's has survived that length of time is because of all the hours that our volunteers put in service to the church. And we always thank you to our volunteers.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know we did it 2 weeks ago, but it can never be said enough.
Yeah. All right, so I have, whoops, I need to move over here, I think. I have a few people who couldn't come today, and I'm going to read their volunteer needs, and then we'll start and have various team leaders or committee chairs come and stand at the mic and read or talk about their volunteer needs. And one thing I'll tell you is that there's an event out here at 2 o'clock. They are having a speaker. It's right out there. It's the Photo Focus people. So I promise you, we cannot go on forever. So anyway, so let me tell you about the three that, from people who are not here. So this is from Emily Hodges, and she asked if anyone would like to volunteer to cover the office when Nancy Greenlee is on vacation. And my understanding is that's not the same amount of hours that Nancy puts in. It's a shorter time period. And I think one of the primary duties is to answer the phone. And then Matthew Peterson, who is our property team leader, he let me know that Jeff will be going on vacation. And Jeff is our caretaker, and his vacation is really coming up, November 6th to the 12th. And so if anyone would want to volunteer to cover that, not the whole thing, but some, that would be great, because we have a soup and bread lunch on the 13th. That'd be his first day back. And we also have a memorial service on the 13th. So anybody who wants to help with that, be appreciated. And then the other thing Matthew mentioned is that the building, as far as things going wrong, is pretty unpredictable, but sometimes things come up and he needs some help. And he is interested in anybody who might have expertise in electrical work or construction or plumbing, and you could act as an advisor to him. So that would be another area. And then the last one I'll talk about is Rich couldn't be here today, but he is always happy for coffee hour volunteers. And you know there's a sign up out this way for you to sign up to help with coffee hour. And that's just the cleanup, not the setup. So that's a pretty easy thing to do. So who's going to be the person who's going to come up here first? We need Mary, okay. And you can just follow Mary up.
And use that mic, right, Mary? Or you can use the mic right there.
Hi there, I'm Mary Darner, and my topic, because we just heard about Rich and Coffee Hour, is the kitchen coordination. And I would like to be relieved of that responsibility. I'd be glad to train someone, but the comments in here are right on about what one does. You assist users. You know, there are people who need to use the kitchen and they have an event, but maybe they're not familiar with it. So you're available for that. Just to maintain functionality, that it's, you know that things are in their place, that supplies are there that are needed, and you make some purchases. And then I keep an inventory of everything, including what are sort of special event things, like when you'd have a large group, so that can let people know they're having a memorial service, they're having a wedding, they're having whatever. We have these resources to support that effort. And I think what I think about that job, it's not very demanding, really. And a lot of people come in and do things, but what's so important about it is it's about our hospitality, whether we're doing that with a small group that wants to use the kitchen and add some food to their event, or whether it's a large event, and that's so that we're welcoming. So I encourage you to think about how can we expand our hospitality, and it's just keeping track and keeping it functional. So it's not very many hours in a month, and I hope you'll think about it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dot Weremeyer, and I am part of the Spirit team. And what the Spirit team does is tries to honor people who contribute to St. John's in any way, and or also the outside community. So first of all, one of the things that everyone can do is nominate someone, and there's a little box out in the next area here that you can nominate people to be honored, and basically it shows up in the e-news, so you've seen probably different people honored in the e-news. And so what we are looking for is anyone who likes to surprise people, anyone who likes to do maybe some research, anyone who likes to write, because what we try to do is not let the person know that they're going to be honored. So you kind of do a little sleuthing to find out things about them that we can write. And then we need to have somebody who writes up the articles and somebody that does the research. So if any of those things sound good to you, we meet usually every 2 weeks on Zoom, so you don't even have to get dressed. You could be in your pajamas. And so it's a fun thing to do. We have a lot of good people that work on that. So if you'd like to join that, you can see me or Lynn O'Brien or Melanie, and I can't say her last name. Sorry. So yeah, join us if you'd like to. And Mary Newman also is on the committee.
Come on up.
Hello, I'm Sharon Loeb. I work on the caring team, and what we do is if members are having a difficult time trying to get to appointments or might need meal help during a short period of time, we also help out during memorial services or that type of thing. The stones in the memorial garden are also something that we can provide information about if someone is interested in that. And what I would ask you to do is to consider letting me send you an email. So you have to give me permission, and then I can send you an email, and what you're saying in that is that you're willing to hear about anyone who might need a ride, anyone who might need a meal, anyone who might need any of these nuts and bolts types of things. And what I say in the email is what the need is, and I always say this: if this does not sound like something you're interested in doing, then you do not need to email me back. But if it is something you're interested in doing, that could be really helpful. And so it's a very easy ask. It's just having your name be on an email list and being willing to read that and see. I mean, I have a list already, but I'd like for it to be longer so that I can let some of the people who tend to overgive give less. And so, yeah, let me send you an email. That's all. Thanks.
Claire. Vaginata. Thank you.
Can you leave cold germs on a microphone? I'll leave my mask on. I have a cold. I'm all boosted and all. So I think you all know me, Claire Wagner. I wasn't at service because I was talking to an adult Sunday school group at Lutheran Church of the Resurrection in Anderson Township, a nice progressive church that does English for second speakers of other languages. They support a family in Guatemala that helps people stay in Guatemala. They do other immigrant support. It was rather inspirational. So I went because I helped to create a PowerPoint presentation from our Sanctuary and Immigration team, which works with the Immigrant and Dignity Coalition in town. And so if anybody's interested in that work, I do tend to mention it in the e-news under the Learn, Grow, and Be Together, conveniently abbreviated LGBT, in case you haven't noticed. But we meet via Zoom. Sarah Siebert and Charles generally lead those meetings, and it's very meaningful. But so back to the e-news. I am training Melanie Malavia. You can do it. To be an editor so I can take a break once in a while. Monica already knows how to post documents to the website. Where I could use some help on the communications and tech teams is people who are willing to learn a little bit to update their own pages on the church website. It's WordPress. It's not too hard. I have instructions written out, and I usually will train somebody, via Zoom or in person to do that. I could use 1 or 2 more people to help with that kind of communications on occasion. And Monica and Joetta have been the most steady ushers, if you will, tech ushers for folks who are watching our services every week. We've hired Roberto, who is magnificent, to run stuff. Monica and I can be backup, not as well, but we can back up the tech side. But just somebody who's willing to log in, whether you're here or at home, to communicate the joys and concerns if need be, to let people know if they have questions or couldn't find their order of service. This is a really easy ask, and we could use 1 or 2 more people in that rotation. So please find me or email me, cwagner@stjohnsuu.org. Thank you.
John and Wanda, you'd be good for following Claire.
I'm John Kachuba, and along with Wanda Crawford, who's right here, we are co-coordinators for social justice. Sarah Seibert is our team leader for sanctuary and immigration, and she's not here today, so she asked me to mention a couple of things. And Claire, where did Claire just go? Neglected to say that Claire kind of organizes people to go to the Willows. It's changed its name, right? The Parks now? Parks of Springdale, yeah. Parks of Springdale, which is an apartment complex in Springdale that's primarily lived in by immigrants. And the SIT team has been helping out last couple of years in terms of food distribution up there and some other areas they can help out, maybe tutoring the kids. So if you're interested in maybe helping distribute food, Claire, I think, you talk to Claire and she can set that up. If you're interested in some of the other programs there, Sarah Seibert can help you out there too. The other part that Sanctuary and Immigration is doing is the association we have with Clifton United Methodist Church's Sanctuary. It's kind of weird to call it a sanctuary because nobody's ever been there really in terms of true sanctuary. However, for almost maybe 2 years, if not more, we housed a Congolese family who were here trying to get their paperwork in order and getting clearance to maybe become, full-fledged citizens. They were here legally. They weren't illegal immigrants. But that sanctuary is in need of some repair, a little bit of paint job and a little bit of outfitting with some maybe appliances and things that a family would want. Amy Munson has been doing that work almost single-handedly, I have to say. If you're interested in helping out in that way, maybe painting a wall or helping out the sanctuary, contact Amy. Yeah, this is probably it.
So I'm Wanda Crawford, and I have several other ways to get involved in social justice work outside the congregation, but it's great when we do it together and team up. So one of those is Found House, so that serves families who are unhoused, and a number of you have done that in the summer and the fall. Our next date is in December, and I'll put that in the e-news, but as Reverend Alice mentioned in the sermon, it's an opportunity to serve a meal and eat together with families. To play with kids, you can just show up and play with them, and they will love having somebody to play with. It is so rewarding. So if you're curious about that, let me know. I also want to mention Matthew 25 Ministries. So that's something that we've been able to do as a group. It was on one Saturday a month, and Jay Gunther organized that for years. And we would just go to Matthew 25, and they would assign us like, hey, you're going to do the paint section, or you're going to sort shoes, or you're going to whatever. And it was a great way to get to know each other. Know that the items that you were working on were being kept out of landfill and were going to be used by people often in other countries, but who had an actual need for it. It wasn't like dumping a whole bunch of used clothes somewhere, but it was like, we have an actual need for this product, which Matthew 25 handles. So that's kind of been in hiatus for a while because Jay hasn't been able to organize it. But if somebody would be interested in organizing that for the next several months or the next year or so, it just involves, calling them and then just, getting some hours on their calendar and then just kind of advertising that here at St. John's. So it's pretty low time commitment, but the reward is high for it. And then the third thing I have has to do with Get Out the Vote, and specifically UU the Vote. So so we've had some postcards and things that First Church organized, and we were kind of helping with that. There was one action already in Kentucky through our UU group, and now there's another action that concerns Kentucky voters, and that is protecting access to abortion. So in Kentucky, it's a 6-week ban. It's terrible, but it can get even worse. There's a constitutional amendment that will prohibit abortion with no exceptions. So we have postcards, and we also have yard signs. Postcards I didn't get yesterday. I was hoping to have them today. But if you're interested and willing to write postcards, it doesn't matter where you live. It's going to go to Kentuckians, and it would be very valuable. Let me know after church, and then I can get the postcards to you as soon as I get them early this week. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Pete and I are part of the newly formed Adult Faith Formation Committee. So, we are having our very first meeting/gathering next week. So I can't really tell you what the opportunities are yet. However, if you have something of knowledge that you'd like to share with the congregation, if you've got a class that you can facilitate, or information you can share, or just we're looking for people willing to share, to facilitate, to step in anytime, Pete.
Well, you said just about everything that was necessary. I just want to add, definitely feel free to contact either of us, so Diana Long, Pete Asman, and if we contact you, think about it. This is a good opportunity to get to know other people. Thank you.
And share your expertise. Claire?
Is it specific to the UU Faith, they call you Faith Formation? Is it more of an adult party about a variety of things to explore?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm trying to look and see who else might want to talk. Barbara, do you want to talk about the Chancel and Chapel team?
I do not grow flowers. I tried. I scattered quite a few and scratched the earth and put some water on it. And after about 6 months, a zinnia came up. But the church is a beautiful place, and flowers make it even more beautiful. It would be nice if we had a lot of money and we could pay some florist to come in and do the flowers every Sunday. But that's no fun for us. If you like to work with flowers, if you think you have some talent in that direction, you can either think about donating flowers, you could come in and help the team, Connie Mitz and I, get together to set up a schedule for providing the Sunday flowers. You could maybe come to a class sometimes where we try to teach people how to do it so that they're graceful and that they last a long time. There are lots of opportunities. So if you either own flowers, like flowers, or grow flowers, that would be marvelous to come and work with me.
I think we've covered everyone who wanted to talk, but I could be wrong. So is there anyone else who wants to talk about their volunteer needs? Yes.
I wasn't planning to do this, but what a great time to talk to people. I'm Raven Song, and for the last several months, I've been working to relaunch our pagan group, Earth Spirit. You know, if you ask 10 different people what it means to be a pagan, you'll probably get 20 different answers. We cover a very wide range of faiths within the pagan group. We are, as I said, relaunching. So we're right now brainstorming about things that we can get involved in as a group, as a separate group, and then also things that we can do with the congregation. So we welcome anybody who would like to come, even if you're not pagan, join our meetings, give us ideas. If you have some ideas about things we can do with the congregation, we're looking forward to doing more of that. So please join us. I try to get bulletins in the e-news and in the bulletin sometimes on Sunday morning, or just email me if you have any questions. Come next week, because that will be our first introduction to the reintroduction to the congregation. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Did I miss anybody? Okay, well, thank you for coming, and especially thank you to those of you who came up and told us about your volunteer needs. So I hope you have a better feel for what can be done here. And we do have a bulletin board in Cruel Pfeiffer that we put volunteer announcements on. So thank you so much. And we made our time limit.